I'm Haley and welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited because it is somehow already my 1 month pan that palette update. I am working on panning the Mikayla and Glamlite palette, and I've been working on it since the middle of January, and I'm so excited to share my update with you guys. I feel like I've made a lot of really great progress on this palette in just 1 month. I've hit 1 new pan, I've expanded the pan in all the shades with pan, and have definitely created some new dips and wear and tear on this palette. So if you'd like to see my update, stick around. So I've reached for this palette a ton over the past month or so. I'm filming this a little bit early because I'm gonna be out of town. So this is a little less than a month's worth of use, but I have gotten so much use out of this palette. I have used this a ton. Like I said, there's definitely a lot more wear on this palette, and this is what it is looking like this month. So you can see in the close-up that we definitely have some changes to this palette. So the 3 shades that already had a pan, which are What's Poppin', Nas, and Stunnin', definitely have expanded the pans on those ones. I've been loving reaching for the color stories in this, and right now, before any shades are fully panned or anything like that, it's really easy to create full looks with this palette, which is something I'm really enjoying doing. It's just really easy to reach into this and just create a full look. I can do more casual looks, neutral looks, more glam looks, things like that. So I think this is great, and I'm getting a ton of use out of this. I've also been really enjoying pairing it with some other palettes, which has been great, kind of encouraging me to dip into other parts of my collection as well. So I'm still really excited about this palette. I still love the color story. I'm not sick of it yet. So let's get into the updates for the individual shades. So first up, we have Harley, which is this neutral light brown shade in the top left corner. And this is the shade that I've used the most over the past month. I've used it 12 times. And as you can see, there's definitely a bit of a dip forming here. I don't know how long it will take to hit pan on these matte shades. Quite a while, I think. But I definitely think this is gonna be the first one that I'm gonna hit pan in, just because I used it so much even before this project, and I just see a nice little dip in here right now. So I'm excited for that. And then right next to it, How You Doing, I used 4 times over the last month. So definitely paired it with Harley most of those 4 times. It's just a useful shade. I don't think there's any wear on this one. Much of any so far, so we'll just keep working on that one. Then Gemini, I've used 4 times over the last month. Same story, although I feel like you can see a little bit more disturbance in the surface of the shade, so again, we'll just keep working on that one. And then What's Poppin', so as you can see, this already had a pan in it last month when I introduced this into the project, and we have expanded the pan by a ton. These pans are so shallow, and in order to really get an intense, you know, reflective look on the eye, you have to pick up a lot of the shadow. So you really kind of have to dig in there to coat your brush and then kind of pack it on, and that results in huge pan expansion even with just 1 use. So as you can see, the pan is way bigger just because the way the formula is, it's also a little bit crumbly, so I really just had to pick up a lot of shadow to get like a full look from this one, and I already have a ton of progress on this one, so it's super motivating. I'm really excited to see so much pan already. I think that's awesome, and we will just keep working on that. I didn't mention this, but my goal this last month ended up being to use every shade at least 1 time. So some of these I only used once, some I obviously used much more, and I think that's going to be my goal going forward, is to at least reach for everything at least once, to keep expanding those shades that already have pan, and also make some progress on some of the more difficult shades as well. So we'll keep working on What's Popping and see how far this pan expands in the next few months. Next up, we have Hot Cocoa, which again, it doesn't have much wear. I only used this 3 times over the last month. So, you know, this one's gonna take a ton of time to show wear, so we'll just keep working on this one. Same as with Willow. So Willow, I used 4 times. And again, you can see some brush strokes on the surface of the shadow, but that's also far. Then moving on down to the next row, we have a Glow Up. So I use this one 2 times over the last month. It is kind of a different formula than some of the other shimmers in this palette. It is a lot firmer pressed and kind of thinner in texture. So we'll see how long it takes to hit pan on that one. It didn't seem as crumbly as some of the other shades here, which kind of is how I was able to hit pan quickly and easily. So we'll see on that one. Simba right next to it. Again, this shade doesn't have much use and the surface is pretty much just barely disturbed. That I used that one 2 times over the course of the last month. Then Accent right next to it. So this is the one pan that I hit last month and I used this shade 8 times, which is I think great usage. I really enjoyed this shade. I feel like for making these really pretty warm looks, and I really thought it was a super fun shade to use. I'm excited to expand the pan on this one. 8 uses to hit pan on this one. It is a very crumbly shade. So like I said, it was a little easy to hit pan. It wasn't all that difficult because a lot of times the shade will crumble a little bit and then I'll use that crumble to like pick up on my brush and pat that onto the eye. So we'll see, you know, again with the mattes, but like I said, these shimmers are pretty dang easy to hit pan on. Then we have Buffalo Chicken. I used this one 2 times last month. Again, still very minor progress on this shade, so we'll just keep going. Manifest, it does have some disturbance. I only use this one 1 time, but it is a shade that I do enjoy and I know I will enjoy getting more use out of this one in the coming months. Cookie, this is kind of hard for me to use because it's kind of a dark shimmer and I don't love darker shimmers, but I used this 3 times still, and you can see some wear in this top right corner of the pan, so that's great. I do kind of try and use this one as sort of like an on top of an outer corner deepening up shade just to kind of add some dimension to the eye. So I'm still trying to get some use out of the shades that are, you know, just a little more challenging for me to reach for. Iconic right here on the next row, I use this 3 times. This is a really fun shade. It is a super bright, almost neon pink, but I have really enjoyed it. It's also a really fun inner corner or inner third shade as opposed to all over the eye, so I've been enjoying using it for that. Simping right here, I used 8 times, which is awesome. I definitely see a dip in here, and this is gonna be a shade that I'm gonna be focusing on over the next month or so. I definitely think that I can hit pan on this one next or soon if I really focus on it, so that's great. And Immaculate right here, I used 3 times. I really enjoyed pairing Simping and Immaculate, so Simping in like the inner third of the eye and then Immaculate on the lid, and I thought it was a really great kind of 2-tone look. Really enjoying those shades. I think they're both super fun and gorgeous. Then MJ right here, just a little bit of disturbance, but I did use MJ 5 times, which I think is pretty good. New Beige, another purple, I only used this one 1 time. And then Nas, I only used 2 times. This did already have pan in it, so I expanded the pan a little bit on this one. Then moving down to the second to last row, we have the best color. I joked last time that I don't love this color, so it's not the best color for me, but I did manage to use it 1 time. So I am still trying to challenge myself to use the shades that aren't my favorites, that I don't quite love, things like that. But I did still manage to create a look using the best color and Bonehead, I believe. So really just trying to stretch myself to get some use out of those shades that I didn't think I would enjoy as much. And then Bonehead, another shade that I wasn't loving, but I did use 3 times, which is great. I found a way to make it work by pairing it with Stunnin' right here, kind of this as an outer corner, like outer part of the lid, kind of to add some dimension. So I thought that worked great. And then Stunnin' I also used 3 times. I freaking love this shade. As you can tell, my nails are kind of similar right now, but this is so pretty and I expanded the pan on this so much. Again, some of these shadows are just so crumbly, so you really can easily expand the pan just by, you know, going in and picking up shadow. So like even on this one, you can see just how shallow these pans are. So very easy to make progress on these shimmers here. And then at Portagy, you can see there's some disturbance. The shadow is moved around a little bit, but only used this one 2 times. Then Pot 2 right here, also used 1 time and, you know, barely any use on that one. Roadie. We can see that this shadow is used, which is great. I used this one 3 times, and I really like this one for an all over the lid one shadow look, for kind of like a vintage style look, that kind of like sort of sky blue, baby blue eyeshadow that was like super popular in the 60s with some black eyeliner. Did that a couple of times, thought that was a super fun look to reach for. And then down in the last row, so Audrey, I used this one time. Again, kind of a darker shimmer, hard for me to reach for, but I'm gonna encourage myself to maybe pair this with some other shades and some other palettes to get some more use out of it. And then Freetown, use this one 2 times, a little bit of wear, but not much on this one. And then Loop, use this one 3 times. You can definitely see some brush strokes and like the tiniest bit of a dip in this one. So that's exciting and great. Handy right here, use this one once. Use this as a sort of inner corner pop of color, which I enjoyed. Definitely want to find some more ways to reach for this shade though, because I think it's super fun. And I just want to challenge myself to play around with this one a little bit more. And then Frisky right here, I used 3 times, and Mass Hole 3 times as well. So yeah, as you can see, I've used this a ton, which is so awesome. I'm super excited about the usage on this. Again, I really want to challenge myself to reach for those more difficult shades and just keep making consistent progress, because I know that is how I'm going to have good results with this palette towards the end of the year. I don't want to neglect some of those more difficult shades and then end up, you know, with only those shades at the end of the year and the end of this project. So what I'm gonna say is, for the next month or so, I really want to reach for every single shade in this palette again. I feel like that really helped me be successful over this last month, because A, it challenged me to do some of those looks using shades that I wouldn't normally reach for, you know, keep making progress on the shades that already have pan, as well as, you know, give some love to some of the more difficult shades. And then I also want to focus on simping. So I think that I'll be able to hit pan on this one if I keep working on it, because with Accent, I was able to hit pan in 8 uses, and simping already has 8 uses. So I think pan is pretty close, probably just a couple more uses. So I think that's gonna be my focus shade over the next month with this palette. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Just a quick little update to show the progress that I've made on this palette and continue to motivate myself to keep working on it. I think this is a really fun palette and color story. I still really like the tones in here. I think they're so fun. So we will keep working, and I will meet you back here in March to let you know, hopefully, if I have any new pans. That's all I have for today. If you like panning content, I hope you'll stick around and subscribe, because I also have my regular project pan in addition to my Pan That palette. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.